Hey everyone, welcome to my fish room where there's seemingly always a million projects going on at once and there's a lot going on in here. But while things are always chaotic, the energy here is always good. I'm Alex and you're watching the World of Whasian channel, and today we're going to be checking out this 20-gallon long aquarium with rummy nose tetras. This is an aquarium that I've had set up for, it's been 30 days since the initial build video has been posted, but it's been set up for a little longer than that. Obviously, with cycling and all that, I think it's been roughly almost 90 days since I started the project, but it's been 30 days since the last video, and we're going to do a little check-in, see how the rummy nose tetras are doing, and overall, we're just going to have a good time and hang out here in my room full of organized chaos. They always say clean as you cook, so that way when you're done cooking and you have a wonderful meal in front of you, you have less of a mess to clean up. And, I try to practice this, but it's really difficult. And none of that really carries over to fish keeping. Every time I work on anything, and I'm talking something as simple as a water change, I am making the most obstructive mess. So as you can see, the biggest difference between now and before in the last video is there's obviously a lot more growth going on in here, and most of that is the floaters here. We put in just a few pieces of water lettuce, and now it's basically covering the entire thing. You can see we also have some red root floaters there as well, very pretty, and a humble mix of duckweed that I do want to kind of get out of here. But in the beginning stages of an aquarium, I always find floaters to be an integral part of kind of making sure that the algae stays at put, or controlling the algae, if you will, because obviously there's a lot of novelty when it comes to a new aquarium. You're not really sure what you might be working with just yet, and as you're waiting for things to balance, I find that floaters, especially in this amount, really help with kind of keeping the algae at bay. And as we go on, as the aquarium matures and more of the plants in the bottom start to really fill in, I start to ease off of the floaters. One, you don't really need them as much, and to also allow more light to actually get to the bottom of the aquariums. So we are doing a quick water change because it's Wednesday. I like to go by this thing called Water Change Wednesday.
But it's Thursday.
I'm sorry? The audience doesn't need to know that.
Look at my tank that I did all by myself.
But yeah, not doing anything too crazy, just removing about like 20% of the water, and that has seemed to work for the last month and a half or so. Alright, so before I top off with water once more, I'm going to go ahead and remove a lot of this duckweed and this water lettuce here. So we have like a good amount of like water lettuce, salvinia, duckweed, and some red root floaters. I think it would be really cool to see this tank completely be taken over by red root floaters. So let's see if we can make that happen. As for all the water lettuce that I removed, I'm going to put some of it in this shallow aquarium here. There is a chance that you have never seen this aquarium. I'm not sure when this video is going to go up, but there's a chance that you've never seen this before. This is my 10-gallon shallow, so this is a sneak peek, I guess. So what's gonna happen right now is I have some botanicals from my good friend Ben over at Betta Botanicals, and what's really cool is just like the Rummy nose tetras behind me, everything that you see here in these bags are also from South America, and they've all been collected in the Amazon River Basin and the surrounding areas, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and hear from Ben himself what exactly is in these bags and why it's beneficial.
So I think in mainstream aquarium keeping, most detritus is classified as the gunk that kind of just settles between gravel, which in a standard aquarium is usually uneaten fish food and fish poop, which is very different from the broken down bits of leaf litter from botanicals. The fish poop and fish food that you see has a really high nitrogen content, which is going to be what increases the amount of ammonia that you have. The first stage of that nitrogen cycle, ammonia turns into nitrites, then turns into nitrates. And then you do a water change and that removes the nitrates from the system. But when you're talking about botanicals, you're usually talking about the cellulose and hemicellulose, and I forget all the terms I learned in biology, but you're just basically looking at plant fibers that have broken down into the mulm layer on the substrate. And the cool thing about botanicals that we use is that they're naturally fallen, they're at the end of their life cycle, and before a tree drops that leaf out of the canopy, it pulls all of the nutrients out of it. So all the sugars that it's been photosynthesizing, all available minerals and vitamins, and nitrogen is one of those things that it pulls out of that leaf because it wants to hold on to that during the winter time when it's not necessarily growing, but it still needs to be doing like regular cellular processes so it can survive the winter. So detritus from botanicals is largely just plant fibers. There isn't really very much in it that's going to be driving the nitrogen cycle, increasing your ammonia and all that kind of good stuff.
Cool, man. So, and obviously, like all of that additional surface area is like helping immensely with like stabilization and all that stuff.
Yeah, the stabilization is like hugely impacted by the prevalence of like botanicals and detritus because it's increasing surface area, and that surface area is colonized by the nitrosomonas, I think is what it's called, the nitrosomonas bacteria, the nitrifying bacteria in the aquarium. You get more surface area, you get more bacteria, and things are just processed. The like toxic ammonia is processed out of the water into less toxic things quicker. So the two biome builders that I sent you was the forest floor, which is a combination of the leaf litter, twigs and bark, and seed pod. And this is for your rummy nose tank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the new Colombian leaf litter that I have available. And so I think the bag I sent you had a mixture of the cacao, cashew, bamboo, and mango, which is all sustainably sourced from Colombia. So perfect for habitat recreation of rummy nose and neon tetras and cardinal tetras, cories, some plecos, pistogrammas, yeah, discus, because there's a portion of like, I forget where in Colombia, but there's discus in part of Colombia. Yeah, so the seed pods that I have come from two or three main places. They come from Colombia, we've got Brazil, and then we've got Peru. So they're definitely geared towards the biotope enthusiast for those three countries, but a lot of these things can kind of be found in other countries or they're very similar species. So you can go biotope inspired and just kind of lump tropical like South America into a lump, and you can use all these pods with like all the different kinds of South American fish.
Once again, I just want to give Ben a huge thank you to being a really big supporter of this channel. All the botanicals and all of the driftwood, well, not all the driftwood, but a lot of it, a lot of the manzanita wood and a lot of the twigs, I get it all from Ben, and he's been a huge proponent, and not just this channel, but in the aquarium community as a whole, most notably botanical method aquariums and biotope inspired aquariums. Yeah, definitely go ahead and check out the link in the description below. Check out his website, see if there's anything that you like. And if there is anything that you want to get, use my code WorldofWhasian15 at checkout, and you'll actually get 15% off your next order. And as always, if you can't get anything, no worries, but just be sure to check out some of the blogs that he has because there's lots of valuable information. All right, so I went ahead and prepared all the botanicals here. Here we go. It's looking really nice. We have a mixture of the cashew leaves, the bamboo leaves, trumpet seed pods. All right, so we have all the leaf litter and the seed pods in here, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. It's been about 2 days, and there is a slight tint in the water, and I think it looks really awesome. As always, I'll be sure to document this aquarium, and especially the botanicals and all the leaf litter and such start to break down. It's gonna look really pretty. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and I'll see you momentarily with this aquarium in a coming video once everything in here kind of starts to settle and break down and decompose. So. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all in the next one.